Chemtrail conspiracy theorists may be the dumbest people after flat earthers. Largely combined Facebook posts from groups such as North Dakotans Against Weather Modification and Geoengineering Truth. The group is a collection of some of the craziest people you'll ever see trying to connect the dots between chemtrails and government interference.
Did you see that Iran knocked out the satellites in the UAE? Yeah, and suddenly a decades-long drought has turned into thunderstorms. Unprecedented. Almost like they've been using satellites to control climate. To keep certain areas under severe drought and stress and harm them. No.
In this video, I'm going to go over how the chemtrail conspiracy started, the core tenets of the conspiracy, and then I'll finally answer the real question. Is it true? Part 1. The beginning. In 1996, the U.S. Air Force released a report about weather modification, which quickly made the rounds in early internet forums. Soon after, officials were hounded with scores of calls from ordinary people angry at the fact that they were purportedly being sprayed with harmful metals. While government agencies such as the EPA and FFA moved quickly to quash these rumors, it was too late. The conspiracy had grown a life of its own. It was made even more popular by the radio host Art Bell, a conspiracy theorist who we can pretty much thank for all the batshit crazy things we hear about nowadays. As he was a pioneer in the online conspiracy theory space, he popularized it on his syndicated radio show Coast to Coast AM.
Okay, now we move on. William Thomas is a name that should be familiar to you by now, if you're even a casual listener to this program. He is an investigator and has, in recent months, or I don't know, for about a year now maybe, been investigating contrails that he does not believe are contrails. You know, the normal things that air jets leave in the air and generally persist for a little while and then sort of fade out, usually rather quickly. Well, he thinks that what we have on our hands in some cases are not contrails at all, but chemtrails, as in chemicals being sprayed on us for whatever reason. And so we're going to kind of do an update on that and a lot more for you.
As the years went on, people started to treat the conspiracy as a joke, but there was still a small number of people who believed it, and after the advent of Facebook, they could finally talk to each other. Facebook groups popped up, clips started being posted, photos were taken, and the chemtrail conspiracy theory was firmly ingrained into the lexicon of American conspiracy theories. Part 2. What is it? Basics of the conspiracy theory is that the big bad government is dumping metals into the air from planes in the form of contrails for nefarious reasons. The main one that these people believe is that they're trying to change the weather. For the better, for the worse, we'll never really know. Lately, some whistleblowers have come out of the woodwork claiming that they have insider knowledge of these operations. One of these people include U.S. Air Force veteran Kristen Megan, a former bioenvironmental specialist who claims that while she was in the Air Force, the government was spraying the same chemicals in the air that it was her job to get rid of in the workforce.
One of the first people to ever blow the whistle on what she says is absolutely happening, and that our own government has been involved for decades, spraying chemicals into the air with no regard for the people those chemicals could be hurting. I want to welcome in former U.S. Air Force environmental specialist and geoengineering whistleblower, Kristen Megan. It's great to have you back. Kristen, appreciate you being here. So you've been talking about this issue for years now. Can you take us through what you say is absolutely happening?
Yeah, thanks for having me back. This is absolutely happening, and it's basically now openly admitted, even though you're getting kind of pushback from the EPA, but I don't think it's intentional. What I discovered around starting in 2007, I was working in bioenvironmental engineering in the Air Force. And like I had mentioned previously, I tried to debunk this. And in the attempt to debunk it, I realized as somebody who was approving forms called Air Force Form 3952s, I had to reject these toxicants on formerly known as an MSDS, now an SDS, because they're the very same toxicants we were trying to engineer out of the workplace. So why would we be procuring more? So lots of soil sampling, air sampling. Once I got threatened, I knew I'd found something, and it's very much happening.
This is her evidence for saying that the chemtrail conspiracy theory is true. And all sources state that most of her work credentials are legit, but her claims of being in the know about any possible weather modifications are baseless. Before she unceremoniously resigned from Congress in January, Marjorie Taylor Greene was a big proponent of this conspiracy theory, bringing whistleblowers onto the Hill to testify in front of Congress.
I now recognize Mr. Burchett from Tennessee for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Briefly, Mr. Martz, can you explain what cloud seeding is?
As you can tell from this video, no one really cared about it, and no one really does anymore. Before becoming the latest Health and Human Services Secretary, RFK Jr. was in public support of the Chemtrail Conspiracy, coming out in about 2024 saying that he believed in it, though he hasn't said anything about it lately. Part 3. Could it be true? The short answer is no. It just makes no sense and can be dunked with the simple reasoning of asking why. Why would the US government decide to do this? What is their motivation for spraying chemicals? Also, I don't know about you, but I prefer to trust the scientific community rather than random people on the internet. But let's look at the actual science so we have a concrete reasoning. The contrails we see in the air are made up of mostly crystal vapor and small amounts of soot and carbon dioxide. Nothing that would kill you unless you were standing right behind the jet. So at the end of the day, this is a baseless conspiracy theory that, if you believe in it, I low-key think less of you.